Boom! Welcome back to another episode of Evolving Through Experience, where we discussing growth in every aspect, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and beyond. Today, guys, y'all know every story is just about growth in every aspect. We got another special guest in the building. We got Andre Norman. How you feeling, bro?
Man, listen, man, I'm blessed and highly favored. That's what they say, man.
Hey, nah, that's a fact. I appreciate you being here, man.
Man, listen, it's not you call. I got a simple policy. You call, I show up.
Nah, I appreciate it. And I want to say this before we even get into the topics of what we're going to be talking about, your story, everything. I just want to say I appreciate you because, first time we met, it was straight genuine. We spoke. You looked me in my eyes. We spoke, and you asked me about the brand when I was telling you about wanting to have you on. It wasn't like a push off like how other people may have been. So I just want to say I appreciate that.
Yeah, I can't be accountable for nobody but me, man.
No, that's a fact. No,
I don't have a twin. They keep saying Dame Dash is my twin, but I can't be accountable for him.
Got you. Say less. Well, nah, bro. So I want to talk about your story. Obviously, I found you a while ago. I finally met you at P2P a few months ago. But I want to talk about your story, starting with your childhood, man, because obviously I know what you've been through, how you've been able to overcome and evolve. And obviously we're going to talk about that. But let's start with your childhood first.
I mean, born in Boston, Massachusetts, man. Shout out to 617. And mom married a high school sweetheart, had 2 kids. Her husband went to jail for robbing banks. She met my dad, local hustler, had 4 more kids. Mom, dad, 6 kids in the house, all is cool, except for my dad had a habit of beating my mom. So we go through that whole drama since I was a little kid, watch my mom catch it. You know what I'm saying? You just, at first it's crazy, then it becomes normalized.
Yeah.
It just becomes part of the day. Then we finally got old enough to go to school, shoot out the house, first grade. I live in Boston, and it's during the busing crisis of the 70s where white kids were throwing rocks at us and calling us niggas because they was against integration of schools. I didn't go to a white school. My bus just went to a white neighborhood. So we go through that. Then next, that starts and stops. And mom finally gets tired of the beating. She put dad out. Single mom, 6 kids living in the hood. You know that story.
Yeah.
We bounce around. I go to a new school. Then come to find out I'm illiterate. 3rd grade, can't read, write, or count, just like my dad. But back then they had a thing called the dummy class. They took all the kids who couldn't read and write, put us in one room and closed the door. So I'm in a dummy class, and it's all good. Then one day, I got put in a regular class because my dummy teacher didn't come to school. And the teacher, Miss Oliver, you saying, stepped to me about acting out. And I'm just like, yo, this is what I do. I'm in the dummy class. And she grabbed me in my collar. She slammed me in the chair. She said, not on my watch. And I thought, oh, my God, I'm about to get punched in my face. I always knew I was going to get hit just like my mom. When she grabbed me, I saw it coming. And she saw the fear in my face. She's like, I'm not going to hit you. I said, I know I'm going to get hit now because I heard that before. Then she did one of the biggest favors anybody's ever done for me. She took me out of the dummy class. She put me in her class. And she started teaching me my learning style. Everybody has their own learning style. You just have to find it. It might not be like everybody else's.
Yeah.
But she taught me mine. And from there, I'm off and running. I'm not a dummy. I just learned differently.
Correct. And I want to ask that. I didn't even know they could just transfer you in classroom without any safe paperwork. Like, that's how they did it back then?
No, back in the days, they put you in the classroom. If your teacher didn't come to class, then they had to put you somewhere.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, like, in general, because after you met this teacher and you had this conversation, okay.
Man, listen, man.
Yeah.
We poor black kids in a public school.
Gotcha.
Ain't nobody making no fuss. My son went to a private school. I remember one time he was out on the playground at school. He kicked the ball and his shoe came off. And it went on the roof. He must kick that ball hard.
Yeah.
I got a 5-page email from the school apologizing that his shoes on the roof. He couldn't participate in recess. They were going to make it up to him. I'm like, in my mind, he kicked the ball, his shoe came off, no big deal.
Yeah.
Number of rich kids at the school, and anything that happened or halfway happened, you got a 5-page email explaining every detail from the school. I got an apology because my kid lost his shoe kicking the ball, and he couldn't participate in all of his recess.
Look how times have changed, right?
No, that's private school. Where I went to school, man, listen, you can mug somebody in the bathroom. Nobody cared.
Yeah, no big deal. So I want to go back up then. So with your moms, I didn't know that, obviously, and obviously we know other people may have deal with this. So during that time, like, what was your mindset? I know you said at some point you accepted it, but when was that transition phase where you was like, nah, this shit is wrong. Like, I can't just let this slide.
My father's 6'6", 300 pounds.
Yeah.
It slid every single time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He wears size 18 shoe.
Yeah.
I'm not stepping to that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm 5 years old.
Yeah.
I'm not stepping to no grown man. I don't understand how to step to somebody. I don't understand what you're supposed to do. I'm just living in it. See, I didn't grow up in your house. I didn't know this wasn't normal. I didn't grow up in your house. I didn't know this didn't happen at your house. My mother used to say, from 1 to 6, you own your kids because they don't see the world. But once they hit kindergarten, they start experiencing the world. So from 1 to 6, this is all I know. This is normal to me.
Yeah.
So we eat Captain Crunch cereal. It's normal. We eat eggs and bacon for breakfast. That's normal. When we do watch TV, Road Racer, that's normal. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they're doing at your house.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just normal. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's upsetting. It's traumatizing, but it's normal. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't happening, you ever hear the saying that there's some girls that if you don't hit them, they think you don't love them? Because it's normalized. Abuse is normalized.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So for me, this is just normal.
Yeah.
And I grew up with the concept of if my mother can be hit, anybody can be hit.
Yeah.
That's why when I became who I became, I had zero problems hurting people.
Yeah.
Because I watched the person closest to me be hurt since birth.
Yeah.
So what's the problem?
And we're going to get to that because obviously, that's a buildup. Like you said, it hurt you. So that was just a buildup. So at what point did you ever like ask your father later on in life, like where he was able to like, did you forgive him at any point later on in life?
It's not so much forgive, you know what I'm saying, because you can't punch my mother in the face and get forgiveness.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, not just once, but like a routine thing.
Yeah.
So it's not about forgiveness. You can steal from me.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is like kind of like shallow. It's just some words. Am I going to be able to live past it? I can't stop what happens to me. I can handle what happens through me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to carry it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what you do to me is on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What I do with it is on me. So at the early age, I didn't know what to do with it. So I internalized trauma. I internalized violence. I internalized there's no rules.
Yeah.
And I acted that way when I went out into the street. So, but now, I mean, do I forgive my father? No.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You punch my mother in the face. You don't get forgiven for that.
Yeah.
Multiple years. So you don't get forgiven for that. But I've learned to live with what happened. You know what I'm saying? So you weren't there for me all the time. You get forgiven for that? No. But I learned to live with what happened. You know what I'm saying? If I steal from you, you know what I'm saying, it is what it is. Forgiveness is just like a fake word to me. You know what I'm saying? Because they throw it around like I'm sorry. What does I'm sorry mean? You got caught?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not sorry. I got caught. There's a difference. So they say I'm sorry. No, you just got caught. So for me, trauma and what he did and what other did, I shouldn't be forgiven for the stuff I did.
Yeah.
I did some horrendous stuff to people.
Accountability.
I shouldn't be forgiven. Now I need to live every single day of my life to show and prove that I deserve to be given that opportunity and that grace. God gives grace.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for grace, not forgiveness.
Gotcha.
And grace is earned. You know what I'm saying? Not from God, but from people.
Got you. Now, I'm glad you said that perspective because I never even thought about it in that sense. So hearing the two perspectives, how you broke it down, I like that. And then what about your mom, though? Obviously, would you say she had that same mentality? Because at that point, like, that's her. Like you said, that's somebody else doing it. But how did she feel?
I mean, listen, that would have been a question for her. She passed a few months ago. But
my condolences.
The situation is she has to take care of 6 kids. She has to live in the house. She's trying to find her way in a segregated society.
Yeah.
In the 70s, it's not all progressive like it is now. So the concept of leaving in the 70s, beating your wife was legal. There was no such thing as domestic violence in 1972. It was called handling your household. So if somebody
handling your household?
Handling.
Okay, handling.
You had full rights to smack your wife in the mouth. 1972.
Okay.
Nobody's calling the police for domestic violence. That's just, you're the husband, she's the wife, it is what it is. So she had no recourse. There's nobody to call, there's somebody to reach out to. This is the guy you chose, this is the life you chose. So until she eventually kicked him out, she just had to live with it.
Yeah.
It's live with it until you can. So I'm sure she was never happy about it.
Nah, for sure not.
Who wants to get beaten? And especially by a man 3 times your size. There's no glory in that. There's no positive in that.
Yeah, fact.
I mean, I didn't take a positive lesson from that. She didn't take a positive lesson for that. He was just dead wrong.
Yeah.
And we've had the conversation. At the end of the day, he's just dead wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We did a Netflix documentary. He finally admitted, like, yo, I was just wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He gave his justification. But at the end of the day,
it's still wrong. Facts.
It's wrong.
I'm glad you said that. I want to know what was his justification. I was going to ask you, like, what was his reasoning, even though it's wrong, but, like, what triggered that?
He tried to blame it on his father. He's saying his father
did the same thing.
I can't remember exactly if he beat my grandmother. I can't say, but he got it from his dad, according to him. That's just the way things was in his generation. And then you pass it on. This is a thing that we do in Black communities, where when you have a son, when he gets to be like 10, 11 years old, you give him a beating to let him know that dad runs the house. You heard of that?
Yeah, I heard of that. I don't believe in it, though,
but
yeah.
And when my son was born, I said, when my son turns 11, I'm going to give him that beat and let him know that dad runs the house. And I had an all-white friend. He says, Dre, that's crazy what you're talking about. I said, no, you don't understand it. You ain't black.
Yeah.
And he said, we had this kind of discussion. And the baseline was, he said, do you understand where that came from? I was like, my father, because he did it to me and my brothers. Sure. And his father did it to him. He said, do you know where it came from? He said, slave owners used to beat the slaves to let them know and instill fear in them. And that's where it came from. And that's just one of the things that, for some reason, was carried on.
Unfortunately.
And when it was explaining me like that, I was like, nah, this ain't the way to go. But then he not only told me what not to do, he told me what I should do. He said, if you're present and you're there and you love your child and you're his everything, your presence alone is enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you show disapproval, that's worse than a beating.
Fact.
If you take your presence away from your child, he doesn't know what to do because you're his whole world. And he'll do anything to get you back in your good graces. Yeah. And I've used disappointment versus beatings.
Correct.
And my son's 18. He's doing phenomenal. I mean, he got caught a couple times.
Yeah. Nah, but it's crazy you said that. I knew that's what that originated from, but obviously I heard Derek Grace also mention it as well, as far as like people thinking that's okay. Like, because in the street, you every time you get an attitude with somebody, your first react is you're not gonna hit everybody you get an attitude with. So why do we do it to our seeds, the people that we decided to bring into this world?
That's a lesson that was passed on. I'm saying, so now, the way we interact with each other is based on what we learned in the past.
Correct.
And until we unlearn some things,
facts,
then relearn some things, we're just going to replicate what we know.
Yep, exactly. So I want to ask you this transition now, because this was obviously, like you said, in your younger days, before you was 10, all this happened, correct?
Yeah.
This phase. So obviously this anger is building up. Where did this transition to where you eventually went to jail or prison?
I didn't walk around angry.
Okay.
I mean, I walked around traumatized.
Yeah, traumatized.
But I didn't walk around angry.
Okay.
See, angry's walking around like, I'm walking around like I think I'm normal. You feel me? I think I'm normal. I'm in prison.
Yeah.
With grown men.
When did that happen, though?
I went to prison at 18.
18, okay.
18, I go to prison. I just say for normalized. When we're in prison, I drink coffee. Anybody drink coffee in the penitentiary know you like milk in your coffee. They only give us milk for breakfast. So what do you want to do when you drink coffee at 9 o'clock at night? With warm milk? Nah, it's no good. We used to take the milk, put it in a trash bag, and sit it in the toilet. Because the toilet had cold water in it. And we leave the milk in the toilet all day, all evening, and we want some coffee. Like, yo, E, where the coffee? Oh, the milk's in the shitter. You go grab the milk, boom. Oh, grab me a piece of cheese, too. It was like a baby refrigerator.
Yeah.
We were eating out of toilets, and we called it normal. The entire penitentiary.
Yeah.
Not one or two of us. Nobody blinked at eating out of a toilet. We normalized it. What are you talking about? Man, that's where you keep it. Where else you going to keep the coffee? Where else you going to keep the milk? Where you going to keep the cheese? Man, it works.
Yeah.
We do what works, but not what's sensible or sane.
Yeah.
We normalize the abnormal, and the entire penitentiary is abnormal. And we normalize it.
Yeah.
And then so we don't see it as trauma. We don't see it as anger or dysfunction. It's just how we live.
Yeah. And speaking of normalization, I'm gonna jump to this, being that you already said it. Like, let's talk about that, because I think now we live in a society where not even just now, but it's been in the past, where our community has normalized like going to prison. Like, this is a cool thing and it's an okay thing. So obviously I want you to speak on that, because I need people to know, young bulls out there right now that's heading down the wrong path for whatever reason. I needed to know, like, yo, bro, this is not the route you want to go. Like, this is not the way that it should be. This should not be normalized.
Telling them they shouldn't go is over their head.
Okay.
Nobody's hearing that. I'm saying that's like telling an 18-year-old he shouldn't have sex. He ain't hearing that.
Yeah, facts.
Until you say she got AIDS, he going for it.
Yeah.
So with young boys who are on this track, instead of telling them you don't want to go to jail, what are your options? What are the options you're going to give them? You say, I would love to say that nobody loved me, nobody cared, my dad was horrible, my neighborhood was rough, and I had no choice. That'd be a lie. I had teachers from Miss Oliver on, Miss Morrison, Mr. Bevilacqua, Miss Lane, Mr. Henderson, I'm saying Mr. Solis. I can give you a list of people.
Shout out to them.
Mr. Duvall, who tried to save me, but I refused to listen to them, because I thought if I let you become my savior or my mentor, that there was no room for my dad. There was one seat next to me. That was for my dad, because he was coming back to get me. And in my mind, I believe my dad was coming back, so I had a chair right here for my dad. And when you came, you can't sit here, because that's my dad. And when you came, you can't sit here because that's my dad. And Miss Lane, Mr. Bevel, all these people I denied sitting here because I was holding a chair for my dad who never came. Then finally somebody said to me, Dre, why don't you let somebody help you? When we went through the therapy process, I'm like, I'm holding this chair for my dad. I'm 5 years into a prison sentence, still holding a chair for this man who ain't coming. And instead of telling me, let somebody sit there, he says, Dre, how about you just put another chair down? We'll leave your dad's chair there. How about I sit a chair on the other side of you, and we'll leave your dad's chair there? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I got to the point of accepting help. So many people are waiting for a savior that's not coming, waiting for something that's not going on. But you couldn't pay me as a 12-year-old or 15-year-old or 17-year-old to get that chair up. Because giving that chair up was giving up on who I was. Because I am my father reborn. And I couldn't, even though he was bad, not there, absent, neglectful, I come from him. And I'm innately connected to him, and I refused to get that seat up because I always wanted my help to come from him. And finally somebody said, keep your dad's chair, we're just gonna put another chair down. And I sit over here. Then I learned to accept help. I learned to ask for help. And so many of our young boys and young girls don't know how to ask for help. And nobody's telling them, get a second chair. You tell them, oh, forget about your dad, he's a bum. Forget about your mom, she's a crackhead. Forget about, not gonna happen. I don't care what condition my parents are in, you can't replace them. So stop trying to tell the kid to forget about where they came from and just say, hey, how can it be and instead of or? He said, me and your dad can help you instead of me or your dad can help you. That one small change opened my life up to receiving help. Because if it was all my dad, I'm going in flames. Listen, I'm going down in flames waiting for him. They said, and your dad. Oh, okay, cool. And it changed everything. That one or to and.
To and, yeah. Okay, so with that then, like at this point, this 5 years in now, so what first, like, let's talk about what even got you there in the first place.
I used to rob drug dealers.
Okay, you used to rob drug dealers.
My dad sold drugs. My stepdad robbed banks. So I became somebody to rob drug dealers.
Okay.
They had the money. Listen, it was no rocket science. It was not a whole bunch to it.
Yeah.
Drug dealers had money.
Yeah.
So I robbed them.
And got caught up.
Yeah, I didn't know they could tell.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't robbing them, but I didn't think other criminals could tell. Not would tell, could tell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, tell. Lo and behold, all they told.
And then
7 to 10, 2 9 to 10s, 2 10s, 2 15 to 20s, and a 5. When I got to the penitentiary, I picked up 2 more 3 to 5s while I was inside, just continuing the trauma.
Yeah. 3 to 5 as in like
2 attempted murder charges.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I'm thinking you mean years on the top.
When I got, when I got in prison, I didn't stop.
Yeah.
See, you don't change who you are because you walk inside of a prison.
Yeah.
Whatever you was doing outside, you gonna do inside. Or try to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whoever you were outside, you're gonna be inside or find out who you really are. So when I came in, I kept robbing people.
Yeah.
When I came in, I kept fighting people. Because my trauma didn't cease because the judge slammed the gavel.
Yeah.
Now you just got a building full of people who are traumatized. That's all. Instead of me taking it out on some drug dealers or fighting at the club, there's a whole building full of people who got the same problem I got.
Yep, on the same timing. So with that, and that's the crazy part too I want to talk about because they call it, they say you go here to help you, but obviously we know like from your conditions, you
say who say what?
I'm saying as far as like the government or whatever, quote unquote.
They never said that.
They do. That's what they call a correctional facility, but it's not really correcting you.
They ain't never said that.
Okay, so what they say?
They said the 13th Amendment, slavery is abolished unless you commit a crime, and then you can be enslaved. That's on the books today.
Correct.
So they said in the 13th Amendment that they can enslave people.
Correct.
And they've never changed it. I think it was a year and a half ago, Mississippi voted to take that off their books, and they voted no, keep it on the.
So outside of that's 100% correct. But I mean, when they say like, when they want people to go here, quote unquote, to pretty much like they'll play both sides. So obviously that's in the 13th. That is the 13th Amendment. But in the other sense of correctional facility, as if people are supposed to go in here, juveniles or whatever, are supposed to go in here to help them get a better chance and change their life around.
How do you go to jail to get a better chance? That's
exactly.
called college.
Exactly.
So, okay. I'm going to go with the Constitution of the United States of America.
Okay.
There's no document that overrides the Constitution of the United States of America. The entire land, the entire country is based on the premise of those amendments in that Constitution.
Correct.
Full stop. Anything that comes after that is derived from that. So that says you can enslave people. And when you enslave people, you know the treatment that they're entitled to. You say that you can bestow upon them. Nothing overrides the Constitution in this country.
Yeah, which needs to be changed a little bit. We need to make some changes.
The concept, you can call it correction, you can call it a vacation, you can call it going away, you can call it what you want. The United States Constitution calls it slavery.
Got you.
So I'm not going to argue with the founding fathers.
No, I got you. Well, hey, we could talk about that too, though. Not arguing them, but some things should have been changed. No.
As is, it is.
Yeah.
There's been many amendments made to the Constitution. You know what I'm saying? I'm with that. There needs to be more amendments made to the Constitution.
Agree.
But for today,
got you.
It is what it is.
All right.
It's what I want, and it's what it is.
True.
Hold on. Give a shout out to Cam and Mace. It is what it is.
Nah. So I want to ask you now. So let's talk about that. Let's keep in this realm. So as far as like your experiences in prison, what has been some of those experiences that has helped you truly overcome? Obviously, within 5 years, you had that conversation. You realized you could save a seat for somebody else and still your dad at the end. So what outside of that was like, yo, like that was the first part, or if it was a part before that helped you realize like, yo, I could overcome?
No, the thing is this here. You can be in prison. You can be in the worst neighborhood. You can be in the best neighborhood. You can be in the biggest house or the smallest shack. If you have the desire to overcome your situation and evolve, you will. If you have the wherewithal and the mindset to evolve and overcome, you will.
Yeah.
If you're stuck in victim mentality, I know rich people who sit around and complain about their life.
Yeah.
I know poor people who sit around and complain about their life. It's not an economics thing. It's an individual thing. So when you sit around and say, well, I'm coming up, and saying, now, if the same hustle you use in the street, the same hustle we use in the penitentiary, you can use anywhere. I'm still in corporate. I have over 300 $2 billion companies that I advise. Same attitude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm the same dude. I didn't change. Hustles change, attitudes, nothing. I get to be me.
Yeah.
Companies only care, can you make me money? And can you be ethical? And can you be efficient? That's their big thing. So me being in prison, when I determined that I wanted to be somebody, I woke up one day and said, I'm the king of nowhere. I'm in here, I'm running shots, I'm calling shots, I'm running, hustling, and I'm running around the prison, but I'm not trying to run out of the prison. And there's so many homies running around the prison. They running around the yard. They running in and out the V room. They got all this hustle.
Yeah.
I said, dude, if you put some of that hustle to getting out, it'd be a different game. He said, what do you mean? So we can actually go home. But prison is just an extension of the hood. So they don't feel like it's like a punishment. The hood is, we all sit in the projects. If you ever look at a project, if you can put a wall around it, it look just like a prison. Take any housing project, just put a wall around it, and you got a prison. So they're at home. They're comfortable. People go to jail and get comfortable because it feels like, man, just minus the females and minus going to the store, we got the rest of the stuff right here. So psychologically, they get comfortable and they settle in. They start. I know some dudes who do better in jail than they do on the street.
Unfortunately.
So for me and for them, it's about once you make up your mind, now you need the right people around you. The environment is secondary.
Yeah.
The environment helps. But like I said, Rosen brought the concrete if the dirt's there.
Yeah.
So you can come up and you can excel. I don't care what I travel the world.
Yeah.
I just got called yesterday for a 5-country tour. Malaysia, Philippines, Poland, South Africa, and London. I'm on a 5-country tour. They're like, yo, Dre, we need you. All right, cool. You can do that. You can travel the world. You can be a consultant. You can be a dad. You can be whatever you want to be. We have to stop believing the lie that, you know something, this is your lot in life. That's what they told the slaves. This is all you ever going to be. This is all you ever want. They kept, don't let them read because they'll start learning. You can't enslave an educated person.
Fact.
The difference between me in 2024 and me in 1904 is I can read. And I can understand. I can comprehend all by myself.
You mean 1994?
I'm going back to my grandfather.
Like 1904?
My grandfather was born in 1904 and he can't read.
Okay, I got you.
My father was born in 1944. He can't read. I was born in 1967.
Got you.
Initially, I couldn't read. So the differential is the ability to read.
Correct.
So I don't stop at my day, 1967. I go to my grandfather. Like this chain, me and my son, he has a music company. So I made him chains. His little logo. Oh, Dad, I want to be a producer. So cool.
Yeah.
So I made chains for him with his little logo. And on the back of my chain is his name.
Okay.
I gave him both chains for Christmas. He looked. One has his name in the year he was born. One has my name in the year I was born. He grabbed his. I said, no, you did that wrong.
Yeah.
I said, that comes to me. You look at the back of his, it says Andre.
Yeah.
The back of mine says Brooks. Because it's not about you, it's about us.
Facts. So let me. It's a few things I want to take out of that. So first, at what point did that mindset change where you realize, not even change, where you realize, yo, like if I want to get out of here, it's all mental. So when did that happen? This wasn't like the 5 years in, or it was after?
6 years in.
Okay.
I'm in solitary confinement. I've already been convicted and given 10 more years to my sentence. I'm sitting in a hole for 2.5 years. And I came to realize I'm the king of nowhere. And I was like, this is it. No, this is it. And this is it. I'm going to spend the rest of my life in one of these cages, locked up. And this is it. And I'll never forget, one time I was playing ball or something, I hurt my back. They took me to the hospital, and they had this machine, but it was up in the infirmary where I had never been.
Yeah.
I'm like 20 years old. I don't go to the infirmary. So they took me to the infirmary where they had this machine, and it was like a old people ward. I go on the joint, and they put me on the table, and they put the thing on my back, and it's a whole ward, you know what I'm saying, full of old people. They had cancer, they had diabetes, they had amputations, they were dying, they were scared, whatever. Everybody people just, I'm like, what is this? They don't show us that. All you see is young dudes on the weight pit playing ball, running around. I saw it. Then later on, I'm like, that's gonna be me. One day, somebody else I'm gonna be up on that ward. And I'm gonna be sitting there drooling and whatever else. I'm like, that's my end. I'm like, nah. I have to change my destination. I have to change my direction. So I didn't change me. I just changed my direction.
Yeah.
What do I want? I wanted to be the top gang leader in the prison system. I don't want to be that no more. So I want to be a Harvard graduate. I said, I just changed my destination, what I wanted. So I got up every day trying to be the #1 dude in the prison system.
Yeah.
And so I went after that, and I put in the work for that. I woke up today, I said, man, I don't want to do that no more. So I want to be, first I said I want to be free. And so often, your first thought is true, but it's wrong. My first thought was free. I looked around the white, the black, the Spanish, the cool guys, the tough guys, kitchen workers, these guys. Everybody got free, came back. I said, free don't work. So many people say they want something, they don't realize it don't work. So I said, I want to be successful because successful people don't come here. So I had to go to college. So I picked a school called Harvard University. So I'm gonna
This
go
is in prison, though?
in prison
Okay,
in
yeah.
solitary.
Okay.
So I'm going home, going to Harvard. I'm gonna be successful. Everybody thought I was crazy.
Yep.
They're like, man, the loss is people snap every day. The word went out, Dre snapped. So what do you mean Dre snapped this year? He talking about going to Harvard. He can't even read. He walking around with 3 knives in his pocket. He's talking about killing people every day. Now he's talking about going to Harvard.
Yeah.
They literally thought I snapped. They said the time got to him. Dre gone. He gonna be doing the shuffle in a minute. He gonna give him some Thursday, and he just
They say that like the Bing, though, kind of like the Bing, right?
who?
The Bing. So like I know in New York, like I'm not sure if you heard the Khalif Browder story, but
Yeah.
obviously, so
He got tortured.
Yeah. But I'm saying like the Bing though, like they call it like the Bing because like they was like after 3 months sitting in solitary confinement, like for
I
Rikers
sat for
Island.
2.5 years.
I know you sat for 2 and that's what I'm saying. That's what I know is it's
There's
like
a
3.
line.
Yeah.
It's not even about solitary. You can just be locked up and just every day going through. We as humans are not designed to be locked in a building or a cage 24 hours a day.
That could go crazy.
Your mind starts seeing the walls and you stop being confined. And your mind starts shutting down. There's no stimulation. You go back to Adam and Eve. Where did they live? In the garden. And they were naked initially. And what did they do? They slept body to earth. You know what I'm saying? They walked around feet to earth. You know what I'm saying? They look at the sky. They hit trees, touch stuff. Prison's all cement. They've taken you and put you in a cement box, which is a living tomb, and left you. It's only a while before your mind starts disassociating from reality. And you shut out and you just shut off. And then your girlfriend leaves you, your mom gets sick, your grandmom dies, and all this stuff. Your girl run off, and you know what I'm saying? All this stuff starts happening, and it starts wearing on you. And there's no resolve, there's no outlet. And eventually, your mind snaps.
Got you. So that's why they say you snap. Okay. So with that, then what was the hardest parts? Because like you said, they saying you snapped. So what was the hardest part? Because it's easier to say something than actually do stuff. So you said this. Now you taking the steps. Like, what was the hardest steps to actually get there? Because you're locked up. You obviously wrote Harvard. You told them everybody thinking you crazy. So now, what was the hardest start?
The hardest part for me was distancing myself from my friends because they had the mindset of we here to hustle. We ain't trying to go home. We in this to the end, till the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? So this is my people. So how do I come up without them? So I had to create some distance between me and them. I love them. I'm with them, but I can't go down with them. I see this ship is going off the cliff, and we're already off the cliff, and we are sinking. Half the ship underwater, and people ain't paying attention.
Facts.
So it's like, nah, I just create space for myself. Then I just said, I'm just going to have to do this by myself because nobody wanted to go with me. Going it alone was the hardest part.
I know from hearing your story, too, you was in the library by yourself, correct? A lot?
No. I went to the library by myself, but there's old heads in the library.
Correct, okay.
Shout out to Ma D and Paul Simmons. They sat down, Mike Tewitt.
Talk to you.
They teach you the law. If you go to law library, somebody teach you the law. If you go to a barber shop, I guess what they'll teach you? How to cut hair.
How to cut hair, yeah.
So if you go someplace long enough, they'll teach you. I went to the law library. They started working with me on my cases, and I flipped my case. It took me 8 years between going to anger management, going to counseling, going to therapy, going to college, going to law library. It wasn't like a 2-day thing.
Yeah.
Over 8 years span, I flipped my case. I flipped my attitude. I got the right skill set, and I just kept marching.
So like, I'm glad you said shout out to them because that's what I was going to ask you next. So I figured the hardest part was obviously, like you said, distancing yourself from the people that you just know, like this is your crew or whatever. So now you have people, like you said, you went to the law library, you started meeting the people that teach you the law. I want to talk about that a little more because I think that's vital too. Because would you say you feel like even if you didn't have those people, I ain't even gonna say you would probably still figure it out, but that probably made it a lot easier. Okay.
Dude, listen.
Okay.
I'm nice. It is so much more helpful to have a professional teach you than you try to figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
Because the mistake curve is smaller. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
The learning curve is shorter. So could I eventually have figured it out?
Yeah.
Probably. It was 1,000 times easier with those brothers there.
Yeah.
And my goal wasn't to like just leave my homies. I needed to save them. You know what I'm saying? So I got out first. I flipped my case, flipped my attitude. I got out. November 99, I came home. And when I came home, I got on my feet. I started helping youngins. I went right to the juvenile center. 90 minutes after I walked out of prison, I walked into a juvenile center, started helping little black kids be better. And I'm doing the work on the ground in real time.
Yeah.
But eventually, I got my money together. I helped my family as best I could. And my big homie who's doing the natural, we went back and then got him. He's out right now.
Yeah.
Because we put up the legal money, we put up the you know what I'm saying, the people to help him fight his case. And he's out. My other big homie, you know what I'm saying, he was doing a life sentence too. Got him out. You know what I'm saying? We went back and we got people. So it wasn't about, oh man, I can't rock with them dudes no more.
Yeah.
I don't want new friends. I don't need no new homies. You know, I put up here by myself. You know what I'm saying? Because my big homie's in Savannah right now. Listen, we rock out together from door to door.
Yeah.
And we went back and we got our homies. So I don't know who you walked the yard with or who you shoulder to shoulder with, but when you came home, did you go back and get them?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. So like, yo, what make me different? Because I went back and got mine. You know what I'm saying? The dudes who showed me how to stay alive. Let's keep it real basic. The people who showed me how to stay alive and held me down until I learned how to hold myself down. Because I did not walk into the prison a gladiator. I walked in a scared 18-year-old. And the homies from the hood showed me how to stay alive and kept me afloat until I could hold myself down.
Nah, facts.
I went back and got them. Full
That
stop.
should be.
And that's it. That's the whole thing. When you get out, go back.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's also, even with that, I think it's a matter if they want to come too. Because like you said, it's a matter of
it
the
took
individual.
me a while. It took me a while to work on his attitude.
Okay.
He wasn't like ready.
Yeah.
But what happens is we riding shoulder to shoulder. We going cross country. So when he see me go home, he's like, yo, Dre out.
Yeah.
And hold up, Dre's out. That dude's a lunatic.
Yeah. I could
Then
do
it's
it
like,
too.
if it worked for him,
I could do it.
it worked for me. When you see other people go home that ain't of your caliber, it don't really phase you. When you see somebody that rock out with you 100%, you're like, wait a minute, he got out.
Yeah.
I made parole. I went to a parole board and they said, let that man go. I got 8 cases in jail. Been shipped across the country to 9 different states. They're like, yo, this dude's changed. And he's conveyed himself and he's shown that he's legit. And I've been home 24 years now.
Yeah.
I'm going to prison on Monday.
Yeah.
So I'm Today
visit.
Thursday. I'm not
Yeah.
visiting. I go in and talk to brothers.
No, that's what I'm saying though. It's not like you staying there, but I want to ask that. Do you ever get survivor's guilt? Yeah.
Nah, I ain't no
Nah,
survivor's
never?
getting. Listen,
Okay.
I ain't feel no guilt about being free.
Yeah. Okay, so what?
I earned this. No, I work for this,
Mm-hmm.
and I work every day to justify it.
Yeah.
So I don't. I feel bad that I got
Mm-hmm.
homies inside.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad that there's soldiers inside. I don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
I sat down probably like 6 months ago when I wrote my book.
Mm-hmm.
I went online and looked up everybody I can know, every brand name, big gangster, whoever, Rico cases.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know none of these dudes. I just looked up their cases and just sent them copies of my book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They sent people copies of New York, California, Chicago, Oklahoma, Florida, Texas, California. I just looked up dudes online. If I could find your name, if I ever heard of your name, I'd go look for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And just send you a copy of my book.
Mm-hmm.
So you just sit in yourself, boom, book pop up. Yo, dude, I put in work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? This ain't no kind of sort. I read a book one time. It was a brother. I ain't gonna put his name to it, but he wrote a book. He was a government witness. He was a rapist. He was a coward. He was in peace. He was a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But he wrote a book. I'm like, this dude's what? And that's what made me write my book. I was so offended by his.
I feel like I know who you're talking about, but I ain't gonna say it.
I was so. I'll tell you after line.
Yeah,
I was so offended by his book
Mm-hmm.
that I wrote my book.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want dudes to know that you can come from solitary. You can come from the shoe. You can come from catching cases. You can come from federal transfers, from the black box. You can come from all that and still level up.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Don't let nobody out here tell you, oh, you got to get line behind these clowns.
Yeah.
Because I had a homie come home, I'm saying, old head. He came home and he was out. He used to call me, yo, Dre, call me Dre Top. And I call him, like, yo, what's up, man? Yo, Jay Crawford. And he's like, yo, he used to try to go get jobs and get into programs and all the lames. I'm saying that's what you are, all you lames who did time and was scared and getting ran off the yard. They came home, they got no backbone. They come get a job at a nonprofit or a church or wherever, and they there because they gonna do their thing. They ain't gonna cause no ruckus. But when the OGs show up, they smile, and as soon as you walk away, they run. Oh, don't hire him because they scared of him. They feel like they're gonna get mashed again. So every place he went, the lames would double back and tell the boss, don't hire him, he's a problem. He's like, yo, Dre, they blocking me. And it hurt me to see him hurt.
Yeah.
So when I came home, I started a program for soldiers, for G's. You know what I'm saying? For people who was about their life. And my first agency, we had, if you was somebody, we came and got you. I don't care what block you was from, what set you was from, who you had beef with. We had a whole team in Boston.
Yeah.
And we got everybody in the city and put them on one team, and we did the business. We created a thing called violence interrupters or credible messengers. We created that in 1999 in Boston.
That's what's
I'm
up.
saying we went and got all the old heads, all the real G's from every block, put them all together, and said, yo, let's do this.
You know, I think that's good because obviously everybody had the mindset to even join that. Yeah.
I ain't got to teach you to be a leader. So when you get dudes who ain't leaders and you put them in a position of leadership,
it's easy.
Because to the world, we're all the same. Or you're black, you're Latino, you're white, you've been to prison 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. They don't know the difference. But there's a difference. Just because you did 10 years in the max don't mean that you that dude. You did 20 years in the shoe, you might have been on PC 20 years. So people go to the shoe and don't want to come out. So they do goofy stuff every 60 days to stay in there. Oh, you did 2 years in the hole? Yeah, he was hiding. So they don't understand the differential between the type of caliber of people. So one size fits all. So when I came home, I know the difference. There's 3 types of people to go to prison. There's leaders, there's followers, and there's cowards. I don't know which one you are until you open your mouth. But the person at the nonprofit will never know the difference. I'm not here to expose you, but you can't lead us. When you put cowards in charge, then when real dudes show up, they gonna mess the whole play up. So I started putting leaders in charge.
Fact.
Real cats in charge. You know what I'm saying? Real ones. Yo, Dre, how do I do this? Dudes call me from Chicago, from Cali, yo, Dre, how do I do it? I'm gonna show you how to run the play.
Yeah.
And if anybody out there coming home from the penitentiary, now or soon, you want to know the play, call me. I give you the play. Ain't no charge. Ain't no, oh man, ain't no charge. If you a real one, ain't no charge.
And the reason I asked that, even like the survivor's guilt, because I've had people that obviously been through jail, been through prison, and I want to know, what could you tell them? Like you said, you don't have survivor's guilt because you ain't no guilt. It's nothing to be guilty about for your freedom. So what could you tell somebody that may have a homie that's left behind, whether they got the mindset of getting out or not getting out? What could you tell them? Like, yo, you gotta let that off of you. You can't be feeling survivor's guilt at this point.
They feel survivor's guilt because they left them.
Mm-hmm.
Not because they made it and they didn't. Mm-hmm. They've disconnected from them. I don't feel survivor's guilt. I'll be in prison in 2 days from now. Mm-hmm. I was in prison last week. I'll be in prison last month. I'll be in prison next month. Yeah. I ain't got no guilt because I still show up.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So when you disconnect, it's like you come from the hood, you become a superstar, you move out to Hollywood, you can't come back to the hood because you didn't disconnected. Those 3 years you were elevating and making all that money, you don't feel like you fit in no more. I could walk in prison in America. They're like, yo, Dre here. Because I never left. I walked out of prison at 10 o'clock in the morning. I walked back into prison at 11:30 after 14 years. I've been going back for 24 strong. I ain't gonna forget no soldiers, white, black, or Spanish. I don't care. If you're Aryan, if you're a Muslim, if you're a Crip or Blood, if you're a G, if you're a Viceroy, I don't care what you claim. I want everybody free. You know what I'm saying? That's my platform. Yeah. I'm freeing people. You know what I'm saying? So how you get down after you get out, go for it. Yeah. But I don't want, this is a real dude. Don't let the man handle our beef. So if I got beef with you, me and you can handle it in the street. I don't need the police to hold you hostage. Yeah. I don't need corrections to keep you locked down. If I ain't got beef with nobody, but I'm not going to let the system
hold you.
You know what I'm saying? Be my co-defendant and hold you down. Nah, let them out. Dre, they don't like black people. So what? Let them out. Dre, they don't like it. Let them out. Why are we going to let the system hold people?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Let's educate, man. And then when you do help a brother get out from another space or place, then it's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Okay, that might be the thing that changed his mind. There was a dude I had beef with. And I caught a case beefing with these cats. I went to his parole board and helped him get out. Bible says helping a friend is simple. Help your enemies. I went to that man parole board and I sat there. And literally during the parole board, they asked him, they said, why is Andre at your table? Because I'm this big figure who helps people. And they're like, they're reading his joint. They're like, they stopped the hearing. They said, why is he at your table? And the dude wasn't super articulate. He was a straight soldier. He wasn't no weak dude. And I stood up and spoke for him. And when I finished, they gave that man parole. I said, I gave him the business. Like, boom. I still didn't advocate for him. And they gave him parole. Let him out. You know what I'm saying? I could be like, yo, me and this dude got beef. He might try to ride up on me. You know what I'm saying? Nah. I ain't going to let the police hold you. Because if I'm scared, I need to go ahead and move. You know what I'm saying? Even before he got out, there's some cats from different teams that we had beef with. Yeah. We're trying to save the community. I went to one homie and said, listen, man, let me meet you. We met up. I said, man, I need you to come join the team. I said, now, I know we had beef behind the wall. I said, if your goal is to kill me for what we did behind the wall, it's going to be real easy. But I believe that your character and integrity and what you want for our community is bigger than what we had behind the wall. And me and that brother's been rocking since 2001. I said, you call me, I'm going to pull up. You can call me, meet me such and such. You can lay me down in the basement. I'm gone. I said, but I believe that your character and your integrity is bigger than a beef we had in prison. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's what when you deal with real ones. You know what I'm saying? When you deal with lames,
coward,
they going to get you.
Clip.
They got bad memories.
Yeah. Forget all that.
Every real one would know you put in some wins, you take some losses. Muhammad Ali took losses. Is he less than the real one? Tyson took losses. He's not less than the real one. George Foreman. True ones take, you battle, you lose something. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you don't want no snake stuff jumping off, you straight up head up and you win, you lose. Fact. But when I come back and extend my hand and it's sincere, you can receive it because you're a real one and I'm a real one. And I've extended my hand countless times. And I will continue to extend my hand because I want every real one to come home.
I think we need to hear more stories like this. And I'm glad you're sharing it. And I want to ask now, so when did you become a father? Because you said you got one son.
I got one son. I got married in 2004.
So when you came home, okay.
Yeah, after I came home. So I got married I went to jail at 18.
Okay.
So I came home and I was 32. So I did 14. I got married in 04, had my son in 05. And I say this to people, you know what I'm saying? It's super important. If you already got kids, it is what it is. But on the front end, when I came home, I'm 32, no kids, making money, fly, all this goofy shit that people think is important. And chicks is like, yo, I'll take him. You know what I'm saying? He don't know my background. He don't know my history. It's time for me to find a wife. I was in the strip clubs. I was on the block. I was in the clubs. I was at the park. I was all those places. I went over to Harvard University and found somebody who was highly educated, highly stable, you know what I'm saying, highly focused. And that's why I married. My son's mother has a PhD from MIT and a master's from Harvard. I ain't hating on nobody else. But I wanted my kid to have a shot. And I knew education was my downfall. And I needed someone that could fill that gap. So I found somebody who could fill that gap to make sure that my son became educated, make sure that he had exposure beyond the limited reach that I have. I got limited reach. She had a worldly reach. She lived in 4 or 5 different countries. She spoke 5 different languages. I'm like, this is what I want my son to grow up under. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we about to talk about that one. And he not saying that you can't find love in a strip club.
You can't. No. That ain't love.
But listen, find somebody. You never know. Y'all might be both in there evolving. Hey, look.
Listen, I'm about to say something, mess your whole podcast up.
Nah, what you was going to say?
You said stop simping, nigga.
Nah,
listen,
but...
listen, we all go, but listen, that ain't way to find a wife.
I mean, look, I think you can find love in some crazy places. I ain't even saying that's crazy, but at the end of the day, that's my take on it. I'm not saying you can't find better ones other places, but I don't want somebody to feel like just because a woman in a strip club, maybe she got evolved too, though.
No. Hold on. I didn't say strippers can't be married, but if you meet her on the pole, not at the laundromat, not at the mall, if you're at her job or she is actively working, that ain't.
Oh yeah, you might not do it when she actively working.
If that's when you meet her, I'm not saying if you meet somebody and they got their jobs, I mean, it is what it is.
I got you.
But if you're at work, you're a client.
Yeah, at that point you're a client now for sure.
You don't go from client to husband.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, that makes sense. I'm glad you clarified.
No hold a housewife, no client to husband.
Facts. All right, so with that, I want to talk about that.
Save a hoe.
I want to talk about you meeting actually like even more in detail of you like creating this relationship with your wife. Obviously at the time you met her, but like what was that process of pretty much like getting to know her, obviously with your background, like how was that process? So other men that's coming out can know like, look, like you can change and find somebody that's worthy as well. So how was that process for
I'm going to give you the formula.
All right.
Then I'll tell you how I did mine, right?
All right.
I'm going to give you the formula first. If I take you to if we go to strip, you just got out of prison. We go to strip club right now. And you got the little diesel swole, just come out of prison, a little look, and she know that you knew. I lead him to the strip club. One of them 20 strippers is going to think you cute and give you a number. I can take you to the park, down in the game. They balling. And all those chicks out there, the Daisy Dukes showing and the head done, I lead in the park. One of them 20 chicks is going to think you cute. She's going to give you a number. I take you to the local bar. And one of them chicks down there shooting Hennessy shots and margaritas is going to think you cute and going to give you a number. If I take you to Harvard University and leave you on campus in the medical department, one of them chicks is going to think you cute and give you a number. If I take you over to Emory Law School and leave you in the library, one of them chicks is going to think you cute and give you a number. It's not that somebody's not going to think you cute. The question is where you being chose from. Where are you placing yourself? Because we don't choose them, they choose us. We can ask, they say yes or no. The question is where are you placing yourself?
Environment. Okay.
What environment are you in? Because if we go down to whatever block, you're going to get a block chick. No hate, but if I take you to 5th and Main, you can get a chick from them projects, from the Main Street projects. If I take you over to Georgia Tech, to the engineering department, guess what you're going to meet? Somebody in engineering school. I take you over to the hospital, you're going to meet a nurse or a doctor. So it's not that we won't get chosen. The question is where are you placing yourself to get chosen? So I was surrounded by Ivy League students. I was surrounded by Ivy League graduates. So it only made sense that of all those women, one of them thought I was cool. She's like, oh, I like him. But at the same token, when I used to go to the park, chicks in the park thought I was cool. But I was like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? When I go to the club, because I went to the club, oh, man, this dude fly. Let me holler at him. Or whatever the thing was, it's where are you placing yourself? So I go to business conferences now. So I'm meeting people who run and own businesses.
Got you.
So it's not that you won't be chosen. The question is where are you placing yourself?
Environment.
What are the 20 women doing that are choosing from you, for you? That's all. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen so many people with baby mama drama because you picked a chick who's traumatized and not healed. Can she get healed? Can she be better? For sure. But is she healed and is she better right now? There's a good chance not. So that's what you're taking on. So when you take that on, if you're not willing to help her heal, then you're going to just live in her pain.
Gotta deal with it.
No, you're going to live in her pain. So for me, When I came home, I worked in a place.
Mm-hmm.
It was all graduate students from Harvard, MIT,
Mm-hmm.
Dartmouth, and all these Ivy League kids,
Yeah.
young adults worked in this place, and I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm being surrounded by Ivy League students, graduates. And it was all women,
Mm-hmm.
and women and men. I don't care what you do. They're like, oh. And they all like in the corner whispering, like, yo, yo, yo. Then
The ratio.
it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And they're watching how I'm moving.
Mm-hmm.
They're watching what I'm doing. They're watching my movements, my integrity, my conversation, and it was all positive to them.
Correct.
This is where my wife described me. They said, why'd you pick him? They said he has range. He can go from one end of the spectrum to the other seamlessly. And I do that. I walk right out of maximum security prison, walk into a $2 billion company, walk out of a $2 billion company, walk into the governor's office, walk out of there, walk into a foreign country, and go into the bush. Range. That's what she thought was exciting, sexy, cool, and appealing. This dude has range.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
What has been the biggest things that you feel like she's taught you since obviously meeting her, and then vice versa?
That dinner's at 6 o'clock. There ain't no sub shop. Reading Sunday papers not a bad thing. Family time. I mean, I didn't grow up with family time. I didn't. My wife used to tell me, if you had my parents, you'd have been president. She said, with all your natural gifts, if you had my parents, you'd have been president of the United States. That's what she used to always say to me. But just stability. I grew up in a chaotic household. I grew up in a chaotic neighborhood. So to me, what's normal isn't normal.
Yep.
So I'm listening to her. Normal is different. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing cold cereal and milk at 6 o'clock at night. What do you mean? Can't have Captain Crunch. You know what I'm saying? No Fruity Pebbles. You lost your mind, lady. You tripping. She's like, no, you tripping. That's breakfast cereal.
Yeah.
It's not breakfast time. So just fundamentals. This is some fundamental stuff that I just did not know. You know what I'm saying? Accountability.
Beautiful thing, yeah.
Responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Expectations. Doing what you say when you say you're going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Being considerate of others. I was never considerate. I was the most inconsiderate person on planet Earth. It was all about me. I lived in a bubble. So as long as this bubble is cool, I'm cool. I didn't have to be concerned about how you felt or how you thought or how it impacted you. It didn't matter. Get over it.
Yeah.
I came from order to get over it. Ain't no yard today. Get over it. Library's closed. Get over it. Ain't no like, how come? So I had to learn to be considerate, thoughtful, inclusive, all the stuff that I hadn't been taught or trained or raised to be.
Do you feel like it was quick for you to pick up? Obviously, with her, it took time.
Listen,
time.
I was invested in being dysfunctional. This wasn't something I picked up at the store. I got this from birth. You know what I'm saying? From birth, I dealt with dysfunction and trauma and absence and neglect. You know what I'm saying? And abnormal stuff. So this is not something you shake off.
Yeah.
And even to this day, I'm institutionalized. I grew up in prison. So there's some things that I still do as if I'm in prison. I think like I'm in prison sometimes. I wake up sometimes in a hotel. I'm like, what prison am I in? Because I travel so much. It's just I get shipped around so much. I've woken up, didn't know what prison I was in. So I got shipped like 5 times in a week. You know what I'm saying? I'm in Oklahoma, I'm in Tennessee, I'm in Alabama, I'm in Indiana, and I just wake up like, damn, what prison? And I feel what prison I'm in. I woke up in hotel rooms and had that same feeling.
Do you feel like you'll ever be able to overcome that? Or what steps do you feel like you're taking to try to get out of that necessarily mindset? Or not, I don't know if it's a mindset, because it's not like you want to be there. It's just like what you're so used to. You feel like you're taking any steps, or what are they?
I go to counseling.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I go to counseling. I don't even worry about waking up and feeling like I'm in. That's just I can wake up sometimes I feel like I'm in Boston. You know what I'm saying? So my go-to thing on Siri is, hey Siri, play New Edition. That's my common music, because that's the homies. Because I was on a bus one time. I was like stressed out. I'm going from Oklahoma. I was going from Texas to Oklahoma on a bus. And we on the bus riding through nowhere, Oklahoma. And New Edition came on the radio. We're in the middle of nowhere. This is no Bluetooth. This is the radio.
Yeah.
So the local country boys played New Edition on the radio. And that song lifted me up so hard.
What was the song?
It was just a New Edition song.
Just a new, okay,
it was
okay.
a New Edition. I mean, I grew up down the street from them. They're from the projects. I went to school with Ricky for a minute. But when I heard that song, man, it hit me. It's like, yo, I'm in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, but I heard Boston, and it lifted my spirits.
Yeah.
So that's been my go-to. When I come home, I got shit. I can do home play New Edition. People like, there you go again.
Yeah. Nah, if it's helping you, for sure.
That to me is real.
Okay,
Music is relaxation for me. It's therapeutic. But I go to counseling. I actively go to counseling. And I sit down and I talk about what's bothering me. Not what I'm mad about, not what I don't got, not what I didn't get, what's bothering me. So I'm literally, my mom just passed, so I'm in a space of doing the grief thing, but now I need to go to counseling and talk about that. You know what I'm saying? What was unresolved, what I didn't say, what she didn't get a chance to say, what did I want to do? I mean, so I can't just brush it off. You know what I'm saying? So, but I've done my couple months of grieving, so now I know actively that's a true traumatic situation. I need to go get that addressed by a professional. I shouldn't just try to like shrug it off or take a shot or whatever. No, that's real. And so often we're taught to just shrug it off or just man up. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to man up and go to counseling. You know what I'm saying? So I don't end up manning up and going back to prison.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And I actually just seen, I'm going to talk about a post that I just posted the other day, but what has been the biggest misconception when you first started therapy or counseling therapy, and that you've realized, yo, this, like, I should have been doing this a long time ago?
Man, I would never went to jail if I went to counseling because we act out of what's inside of us. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't resolve something, it sits. And it just sits and it comes
Builds
out.
up.
It comes out.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? It's like whatever you eat is going to come out in your toilet. Full stop. You eat it, it's going to come out sooner or later in your toilet. So whatever you ingest is going to come out in your personality. It's going to come out in your actions. These feelings come out the same way food comes out.
Facts.
But it comes out in actions and words and deeds. You know what I'm saying? Those actions and words and deeds can get you fired, get you divorced, get you sent to jail, get you living by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Get you depressed. It's not always prison. See, there's so many people in prison that never step foot inside a penitentiary. They're in a dead-end job. They're in a horrible relationship. Facts. They don't know how to get out of this circumstance. You know what I'm saying? They got people abusing them. They don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? And it used to be a thing. I used to talk at schools. And I said, oh, young men don't go to prison. Girls said, I ain't going to prison. We don't go to prison. I said, it's called Section 8 with 3 kids for you. He going to the penitentiary. You going to the project with 3 kids while he in the penitentiary, cussing you out on the phone. That's what you're going to get. So they're like, I said, yeah, think about it. If you're a single mom with 3 kids living in the projects, what do you call that? I already told you in the beginning. If you put a wall around the project, it looks just like a prison. Kid you not. So we sentence women to project living with 3 kids, building enough money to live. I'm saying bad schools, and we send guys to a cement building. With the same thing.
And it's crazy. Even with you saying that, that's a fact, because the originate, I know they used to call it the ghetto, but they used to actually do that. That's like where it originated from. But I want to double back on that, because I'm glad you said that you would have never went to prison if you went to therapy. But I shared this post the other day from Judge Tolar. She's like a famous TV judge, and she was talking about that too. Why most of us wind up in prison is because, like you said, we don't know how to control our emotions. We act out. We let these different things in our lives build up, and then next thing you know, you done snap and killed somebody, and now you in jail. Now it's not just you in jail, but like you said, now you got a family that's sitting in the projects on Section 8, and this is a triple effect that just continues. So I'm glad you said that, because I just shared that post the other day.
Listen, call me what you want, right? But call me after my therapy appointment, and my phone, I'll answer my phone. Because if you call me without my therapy appointment, I'll be calling you to collect call from JPay. So we ain't doing no JPay calls. Call me on my iPhone. FaceTime me.
Nah, facts.
You know so it's like lack of information. I'm saying, and misdirection. You know I'm saying, I watch a ton of YouTube stuff, and you'll see me talk about prison. You're not gonna hear me talking about bashing them in the head and choking people out. And I mean,
we don't need all that.
This car was fighting that car, and these dudes were. To me, I'm not going down that street. You know what I'm saying? The thing I'm gonna tell you about prison, it was the biggest waste of time. It was the biggest waste of time. You know what I'm saying? It was the biggest waste of time. That is my lesson and my story about prison. It was a colossal waste of time. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that we can talk about hurting people. I tell a story about, you know what I'm saying, but nothing about no blood and guts, nobody getting chopped up or stuffed in a locker,
I know you
choked out.
Yeah, I know you told the story about, like, when you walked to the
I went and got something to eat.
Yeah, that story.
I went and got something to eat. I mean, I do that.
Yeah.
There was a time I talk about when
Tell that story just in case people don't know, if you don't mind. You might as well. You're already talking about it.
No, I just came back I did 2.5 years shipped out to the feds. I came back to the state. They kicked me out. I come back to the state, so I'm that guy. So I'm in my cell. It's a Saturday. I'm hungry. So I said, man, I'm hungry. So I got up and I walked down to the desk. I looked at the CO, gave him a head nod. He opens the door. I walk down the hall. I get to the sergeant's desk. Give him a head nod. He cracked the gate. I walk down. I get to central control, where it's all like the cement. And they sit in the case, and they got the controls. There's a hallway right in front of center control that runs down to the kitchen. Now, the kitchen's off limits if you don't work there, because they got knives, they got spices, they got all sugar, fruit, all the stuff they don't want regular inmates to get. You have to be cleared to work in the kitchen. I don't work in the kitchen. I'm not dressed like a kitchen worker. I get to do the head nod. He busts the gate. I go down the hall. I get down to the hall. I bang on the door. Dude hit the slot. Look out. Give him the head nod. He busts the door. I come in like, yo, what's up? They're like, Dre, what's good? I said, yo, make me a hamburger. Yo, man, hit me with a shake. And I'm chilling. Dude's like, all right, we got you, Dre. No problem, OG. I'm just chilling, waiting on my food. This dude come out the back. He had like the jacket on and a little pin on. He looked at me. He's like, you're not dressed properly. What are you doing in my kitchen? He just starts yelling at me. I'm like, yo, man, slow down. Why are you going off? Slow down. He's like, who are you? What are you doing in my kitchen? At the time, it was like 91 or 92. I'm saying the regulator was out by Warren G. and Nate Dogg. He said, who are you? I said, I'm the regulator. He says, and what do you regulate? I said, if you go home or not. I said, so first, let's stop all the screaming. I'm not a screamer. Let's talk like men. Screaming don't mean nothing. It don't prove nothing. We just can't act control. I said, first, let's talk like men. And second, I'm the regulator. I decide if you go out of here in the box or you walk out here on your own 2 feet. You know what I'm saying? So all the screaming is going to get you nowhere. I'm just can't get something to eat. I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? Them dudes over there making me something to eat, you trying to stop me from eating. In case you don't know, I walked through 5 locked doors to get here. And everybody in this kitchen, including the COs and the staff, are doing what I said to do. You're the only one with a problem. Now, you seem to want to stop me from eating. I don't know why, but that just seems to be your thing. But I'll tell you what, if I kill you right now, you'll be dead. They'll take you out of here. They'll take me to solitary, and I'll spend maybe 7 years in solitary. When I get out of solitary, I'm going to come right back to this kitchen. I'm going to walk through that same door, and I'm going to stand in the same spot. I'm going to tell them the same thing, make me a hamburger. And they're going to make it. So the question for me isn't, do I get a hamburger? The question, do I get it today or do I get it in 7 years? And the truth is, I'm patient. So it's whatever you want to do. He looking at me like, this dude is threatening to kill me like 5 times. And ain't nobody budging. Staff is looking at him like, man, you just smacked Mike Tyson. So then he looking at me, and he looked at his head on his hip. He had a radio with the alarm button, a little orange button on top. He's thinking, they told me, hit the button. He's thinking about hitting the button. I'm looking at him like, you let him want to hit that button. They would have came and got me. It wouldn't have been nothing mad, but I'd have got him. So he's thinking about hitting the button, and he's looking at me. I'm looking at him. He's looking at the button.
Worth it.
He's like, they didn't tell me. And then he turned, he stopped, and he walked over to the grill. He said, hey, grill man. I said, what's up? He said, make him 2. And he ran in his office and slammed the door.
Hey, man. Appreciate you sharing it.
I mean, my thing is just it. I mean, I was hungry. And that's it. I mean, I was hungry. Dude, why you stop me from eating? So that means I'll tell a story like that. But I'm not going to tell about,
all the extra.
Share about, I mean, I've seen dudes die, seen dudes thrown off tears, seen dudes hang themselves, man. I don't share those stories. You know what I'm saying? I had one when I was getting into beef, and my big homie said, yo, can you beat him? I had to say no. He said, well, you stand down, and yo, B, you got the beef, yo, D, you watch the door, you get the door. I mean, what are you talking about? He said, we don't take losses. He said, man, you all in your feelings. He said, I don't care about your feelings. I don't care what you're thinking. We don't take losses. Play your position and shut up. I'll share that story, too. I mean, that's why I was a young boy trying to come up. Man, shut up. Get in line. All my stories are about me chumping somebody for a hamburger, man. I remember they took me on the yard, so I made a mistake. They took me to my home, my team. Took me to the yard where they kill people. So we walked like, yo, we're going to have a meeting with Dre on the yard. I know I messed up. We walk all down in the yard. It was like a big handball on a big mound of dirt. They kill people back there. And they sitting there, the whole team is talking about what they should do to me for the violation. I'm like, they talking about me like I ain't here. My first thought was to run. I ain't going to front. I'm like, man, I didn't realize I was hanging out with killers until that moment. I said, man, these is all bona fide, straight up killers. I got in their car because the neighborhood I was from, not because of who I was or what I was just from their neighborhood. And they're now sitting there talking about doing stuff to me. Like, I'm like, I should run. I realized they ain't nowhere to run to, so I stood in. And the homie said, listen, we're going to give you a pass this time. But if you mess up again, This know we handle our own. And you ain't getting no pass. And we all walked off the yard. I kid you not. That was the best lesson I could have ever got because I never made another mistake again. 14 years, I was spotless. Because that day etched in my mind, like, this is serious. I'm in jail. It's a joke. This is summer camp until you get taken to the yard by 20 killers. They talking about killing you. I'm like, and ain't nobody coming to help you.
No, facts. It's gonna be too
that
late.
that moment redefined my whole bid. Because from that moment on, I never took it as a joke or something light. I'm like, my own homies were about to kill me or considering it. I'm like, this is serious. Yeah. And I literally was on point from that day to the day I walked out. And some of us don't get that situation, and we still thinking it's summer camp until one day you make a mistake and it's hell to pay.
Yeah.
And ain't no bounce back.
Yeah. Ain't no second chances. So I want to ask these too, like with your raising your child, then obviously you came home. What has been the biggest lessons he's taught you, and then vice versa if he's told you?
My son has taught me patience. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going through that.
Yeah, I got to learn patience with the kids. You know what I'm saying? It's not, he's my kid. He is me reborn, but he's half his mother. So
that's the other factor.
I got this thing of, since you're me, you've had my experiences, so you should understand the way I talk. He hasn't had my experiences. My son's been in private school since daycare. Daycare, preschool, first grade, all the way through high school.
Which is a blessing.
So he looks like me. He moves like me, but he ain't got the experience I have. So when I talk to him sometimes, he gets offended. He takes it hard. I'm like, why you acting like that? Because you didn't grow up like this. So I have to realize that even though he's me, he's another generation. And he's a different generation. He's a better generation. He's a way better version of me. I'm glad he doesn't have the trauma that I have. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't seen the things that I've seen. So we wear them as a badge of honor. They're not. You know what I'm saying? So seeing these things not in my kid is a good thing. You know what I'm saying? So watching him, I have to say, okay, Dre, don't bring the chaos to your kid, because he's going to get it from you. He ain't going to get it from out in the street. He's going to get it from you. So I am super mindful of trying to be cognizant of not being mean or being overbearing. And I try to balance it out. I am who I am, right?
Yeah.
I'm direct.
Yeah.
So I'm always going to be direct. I'm trying to like hear him out. Because in the street, in the penitentiary, I don't listen.
Yeah.
I ain't listening. I make the rules. When I got to I made the rules. And when you was making the rules, I listened. I make the rules. There's no discussion. There's no vote. So he ain't a gang member. He ain't in prison. So I can't talk to him like he's one of the team. He's my son. I'm saying he has aspirations and goals. So I had a habit of talking to him like we was on the yard.
And do you feel like with those moments where you realize that, do you feel like if you think like a flashback, I'm somewhat creating the same small condition, not on the same level that your father did, where the way you're directing at him and talking to him, did you ever like in those moments you feel like, dang, I'm somewhat this part of my father I'm doing? Have you ever had those instances?
No, my father didn't talk to me, so not really.
Okay, I got you.
I'm bringing in prison. I'm bringing that prison attitude and prison vibe to a kid who's been in private school his whole life.
Don't know nothing about it.
Ain't his space. So it's more me just catching myself, not trying to like make him tough. I gotta make him tough in other ways. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gotta. He's a black belt in Taekwondo. You know what I'm saying? He speaks three. Like he does. He can tough in other ways. So, but the way we equate tough in prison is not just can you fight, but have you fought. You know what I'm saying? Where we not can you suffer, have you suffered. And my OG test is not the one who can get the best punch, it's one who can take the best punch that wins. So it's like I'm not trying to train him to be a Mortal Kombat fighter on a prison yard. I'm trying to train him to be a world leader. So we're working on, right now, he's taking courses on government contracting. He's taking courses on how to be a tax assessor. So now he can work on the H&R Block, but he can do his own taxes. How many rich people do we know that went broke because they didn't understand taxes?
Correct.
So he's taking tax courses now. He just ordered his books for government contracting. So his side business is going to be government contracting. The two richest black men in America, Robert Smith and Dave Stewart, both government contracting. So why would I not want my son to do that? So he has other aspirations and dreams. He makes music and all that's cool. But I know, because I sit in a room with business people, you're going to understand business as well. So he will have a government contracting business. You know what I'm saying? He's going to have, you know what I'm saying, know how to do his own taxes. When his tax guy starts telling him something funny, he knows his right from wrong. So too many people have been robbed blind because they couldn't count.
Hey, talk about it. So with that, what has been some of the lessons you feel like he's taught you? Or, well, you said patience, but what vice versa? Has he ever told you what you've taught him?
Um, he wrote me one time. I wrote a book, my book, The Ambassador of Hope, and he wouldn't read it. Yeah. I gave it to him.
He wouldn't read it?
I gave it to him a couple of times. He wouldn't read it. Then one time, he lived in London. So he lived in Africa for 2 years. He lived in London for 9 years.
No,
first he was in Boston. Then he moved to Africa. Then he moved to London. His mom had a job in those countries. So I used to give him my book, threw it on the desk. Then he hung out with me one summer, and he got on the plane, and I gave him my book again. And he was actually, it's like a 9-hour flight to London. He actually read my book. And he texted me from the plane saying, Dad, I had no understanding of who you were and what you've been through. I'm reading your book. I'm super inspired. I'm super proud to be your kid. And I love you. Yeah. And because how do you tell somebody what you've been through? Yeah. I'm saying, he looks at me, I'm just dad. I'm just dad. That's it. He doesn't know anything about what I've been through. I'm just dad. I'm the guy that puts food on the table, lights are on, I'm saying your toys are there. I'm just dad. So not understanding me made it harder to deal with me. His grace on saying, okay, yeah, you came through some stuff. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I recognize you for it.
Nah, I appreciate you sharing that because that helps me give grace to my pops because I'm glad you said that before we wrap it up. I'm glad you said that because, like you said, how do you tell somebody a story? I always ask my pops about his stories and things that I want to know, but he's like, it's hard for you to tell. It's hard for him to tell. He like, you got to go ask one of his best friends, but his best friend already dead now, so I can't ask him. So it's like I want to get him to write a book. So I'm glad you said that because now I could understand it from a different perspective. Because I always hear that. I'm like, yo, just tell me. Like, it's not that hard. We riding in the V. Just tell me.
It's different. You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff I can't tell my son about doing stick-ups. Yeah. Because the reason I don't talk about violence and prison drama and all that, because 90% of the people will hear that and say, oh, okay, that's a lesson. 10% of the people say, that's cool, I want to go do it. I'm responsible for the 90 and the 10. So I will never say anything that's going to damage the 10 or the 5 or the 2 or your kid. If your kid is going to hear this interview and says, oh, man, Dre said selling drugs was cool, or Dre said hurting people was cool, and he's cool, I want to be like Dre. So let me go be like Dre. Are you gonna be okay with that? Nah. Your kid counts as much as everybody else's kid. That's why I don't share stories like that.
Got you.
Tell me to do for a hamburger is baseline. Yeah. That's about as far as I go. But I want people to understand that, I'm saying, it's serious. I don't share those stories because I don't want anybody's kid to go off the trail. Yeah. So the important part is I waited probably 12 years for that email. Yeah. Because going through, he has the vision, has the concept. I'm the bad dad, I'm the whatever I am. And I had to wait it out till he got old enough to understand. The thing I want people to know is it wasn't an overnight thing. I had to go through years of waiting. Yeah. I'm saying, so if you and your kids ain't getting along all the time, and sometimes you just got to keep being a bigger parent, being a better person, and just taking the high road. And it comes, it comes full circle. So if you're doing what you're supposed to do, it's going to come full circle.
No, facts. I hope the fathers out there that have to go through that definitely listen and really take that and digest that so they know.
I take my son to prison with me now. Yeah. So when I go out, see, again, he comes on the road with me. So I go give a corporate speech. I gave a speech in Orlando. $22 billion company, 3,000 people in the audience. He's sitting in the front row. Yeah. And I'm on stage. I'm saying, I go to a prison in Louisiana. He came with me. He hates it because I make him talk. I'm like, yo, son, get up there. Yeah. Like, come on, Dad. I'm like, come on. It's in you. Your grandmother's a speaker. I'm a speaker. Your mother's a speaker. Get up there. So he's learning communication. He's learning networking. He's learning business
firsthand.
Saying, oh yeah,
yeah. So, that's important. That's what's up.
So we do crazy business lessons. We're going to listen. I'm saying him and my nephew, I be beating them down.
Nah, that's good.
They be like, here he comes.
Yeah, nah, that's good. So any last words? I got one more question after this. Well, I'll ask this first. In your own words, what does evolving through experience mean to you? Yeah.
I'm saying, listen, you're gonna evolve. The question is, are you trying to go up or down? I'm saying you can evolve down too. I'm saying evolving, that just means you're moving. I'm saying, are you growing or are you stagnating / dying? I'm saying, so I'm evolving through experience, man. Listen, I wouldn't have chose my course. I wouldn't have chose my path, but it's not mine to choose. I'm saying that's a God thing.
Yeah.
I'm saying God chooses your path. I'm saying He gave me every experience that I have. It's my job to turn those experiences into lessons and give them to somebody else.
Facts.
I'm saying so the good ones and the bad ones, reinterpret them, reposition them, give them to somebody else. So I work with mothers who have kids in jail. I'm saying I help the mothers understand that their kids can come home and be great. So I've worked at the White House, I worked at Harvard, I worked at London Business School, worked for the UN. Your kids can be just like me or better. You know what I'm saying? I work with people who have loved ones murdered by people in jail. You know what I'm saying? I want them to know that, you know something, I've never murdered anybody, but we can come home and actually live a life that's positive. It's unfortunate what we did, but we can evolve beyond that and become super helpful people. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like then the barriers, the racial barriers.
Yeah.
I've been to Montana, I've been to Utah, I've been to Wyoming, I've been to all these crazy white states helping white kids just as much as I help black kids. So when I work with people coming home from prison, I want to come home and help kids, Dre. I said, do you help white kids or black kids? I said, huh? I said, do you help white kids or black kids? They said, there it is. We help kids. I'm saying, but we're trained. Our first thought is we help black. I'm pro-black all day, but I help kids. I'm pro-black all day. I'm saying, but I help prisoners. I'm pro-black all day, but I help parents. I'm saying, so I can be me. I'm always going to be first. My grandmother used to call me a little brown boy. I ain't running from that, but I help people.
Facts.
I'm saying, and that's what I convey in my trainings is the more people you help, the better you make the world, because you just never know how that's going to spin back.
Yeah.
I'm saying, don't think you keep it in the hood that you're safe. Man, I help people all over the place.
Yeah.
And it spins back. I got a friend named Joe Polish, like a little brother. He said, life gives to the giver. And if you give, you will receive. So we're going to take this interview. I work in the prisons now. And I had a guy come to me. His name's Dave Abel. He runs a company called Aventive, which owns JPay, which is a tablet program.
Okay.
And we take this interview, hit a button, 650,000 prisoners see it around the world. Excuse me, around the country. We just did an interview with Hit Boy and his dad. I'm saying, so Hit Boy and his dad just came out of prison. They made an album together. So we did the interview, hit a button. That thing's hitting prisons all across the country. Texas, New York, Alabama, Nevada. I'm saying it's everywhere. Florida, Michigan. I'm saying we hitting. So how do we help people in prison be better? We engage with them. So I take content and I put it on the tablets and I hit a button and 650,000 people see it across the country. Men and women, white, black, Spanish, it don't matter.
Yeah.
I'm saying people from Nevada, people from Miami. Everybody gets it.
Yeah.
So if you want to join, like, Dre, how can we be helpful? We need content. Yeah. We need content that's helpful, inspiring, uplifting, and we're going to put it on a tablet, man, and we want brothers and sisters across the country, like I said, to be better.
No, I'm glad you said that. I appreciate that because this is who I want this to get to, not just them in prisons, but people outside. So if this can help them inside, just to realize like their experiences and they can overcome that, like I said, not just physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally, hey, let's do it.
Oh, we make money too.
Yeah,
I do 3 things. I travel the world, I help people, and I make money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't believe in...
You got to have it. You got to have all 3. You got to make the money. You got to make the money.
Just 2 things. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother Pistol Pete up in New York. I did his podcast, Dog on the Yard, a few months back. He's phenomenal at helping people. You're probably phenomenal at helping people. But there's 2 parts. There's helping people, and there's the business of helping people. I'm phenomenal at both. Because helping people is a business. Yeah. As well, you can be good at it. It's like sports. There's phenomenal athletes. Then there's phenomenal people who run sports.
The business. Yeah.
The business of sports. And how many athletes we know end up broke or end up stressed out versus the financial advisor and the agents are still going. Don King never threw a punch. Don King never threw a punch. That was the business of boxing. There's boxing and there's the business of boxing. Don King was the business of boxing. He let Ali and Tyson, all them throw the punches. He never took a punch. He just took checks. So when you understand helping people and then the business of helping people, then you can actually create impact for people and yourself. Yeah. So I want to teach you the business of helping people. I want to teach your loved one the business of helping people. Because, I mean, what they said, who wants to be broke? Ain't no fun in being broke. No, my son wanted he got this little chain for Christmas. He was happy. You know what I'm saying? But I had to be able to buy this. You know what I'm saying? He wanted a pair of sneakers. He wanted to take a trip. You know what I'm saying? I got to be able to pay for that.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So I can, I'm out here just grinding out, helping the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't jump over your own to go save somebody else's.
That's a fact.
So yeah, for the record, Brooks Elliott comes first. Then the other 6 billion people come second. Oh, man, that ain't right.
Nah, definitely
Listen,
right.
Where I come from, mine's come first. And if I'm a bad person for saying that, whatever.
So be it.
No, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't talk to me, unfollow me, unfriend me. I don't care. Put some goofy stuff in the DMs. I don't care.
Yeah.
If you want to tell me my kids shouldn't come first in my life, then I got the whole biblical thing messed up.
Yeah.
Because it went God, Jesus, me, my kid. Boom. Full stop. Full stop.
Hey.
So I ain't sacrificed none of my kids. I ain't got one.
Yeah.
I tell me he's my favorite. He's my only kid. So don't worry about it.
So any last words that you want to say? And like I said, I appreciate you again as a father, so I'm learning some things too. But any last words you want to leave the people? Even though you said a lot that's just valuable, but any last words?
Last words would be, I'm going to die one day. We're all going to go one day. And when we go, in theory, they put us in the ground, they put a tombstone on top of us, and that's the end of the day. And on that tombstone, they're going to write a few things. Everybody talks about the year and the dash. That's played out. I'm tired of hearing about the dash. What do you live your dash? Man, don't worry about my dash. You know what I'm saying? My dash is not on film. But what's going on my tombstone other than this dash is 3 things. They're going to put 3 sayings on my tombstone. The first is going to be Harvard Fellow, because I did that. I'm a Harvard Fellow. They're not going to say gangster. They're not going to say prisoner. They're not going to say used to be rapper in the 80s. They're going to say Harvard Fellow. The second is going to say honorable son. I've done stuff for my parents to go well above and beyond just being a regular kid. And the third thing it's going to say is I freed people. That I went around the world and I freed people from their prisons. Whether it was addiction, whether it was bad relationships, bad mindset, bad neighborhoods, poverty, or incarceration. I freed people. And I want you to actually sit down right now and say, what are the 3 things they're going to write on your tombstone? Then more importantly, does your life reflect that? Oh, I'm such and such. Does your life reflect that? See, my life reflects the 3 things that are going on my tombstone. Is what I'm doing worthy or compatible with a Harvard Fellow every single day of my life? Is how he's moving respectable and honorable to his parents every single move that I make? And is he freeing people? Is his conversation, is his verbiage, of his vernacular talking about helping somebody get free from whatever the circumstance? Every single sentence that I say. Does that mean I don't go out and have fun? No. But my main essence, my 24 hours a day, majority of those hours are put to helping somebody. When I wake up in the morning, I say, who can I help today? That's it. And I go out and try to help somebody. So my parting words is write your 3 things down. And ask yourself, does my life reflect these 3 things? Because when you leave, nobody's going to talk about the car I got outside. This chain is going to be gone. This shirt's going to be gone. This podcast is going to be soon forgotten. 35 years from now, when they laying me down, they're going to say, what are the 3 things that epitomize Andre? It's not going to be the Timberland boots. It's not going to be the house. It's not going to be the trips. What impact did you create in the world? Your car's not going with you. Your jewelry's not going with you. Your house ain't going with you. Your girlfriend ain't going with you. Your kids ain't going with you.
That's a fact.
So I live my life according to my 3 things. And if I need to change them, I can. I used to say one of the free
evolving
prisoners.
part.
I used to want to free prisoners because that's where I came from. Then as I got more comfortable and more mature, I went from prisoners to people.
Evolving.
I evolved.
Hey.
I want to help prisoners. Now I just want to help people.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. So, look, if y'all enjoyed another episode, this was a valuable episode. And if you haven't started evolving today is a great day to start, because if you're not evolving, you're dissolving. So if y'all enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it. Make sure you shop the merch. Make sure you share it with a friend. Go to therapy. Whatever you may need to do to start evolving today, let's do it. So if y'all enjoyed another episode, catch us on the next one. Peace. I'm a bad